Hello and welcome to Sunday Sanctuary with me, Sarah. I hope that you're well. Today's theme is focused on the art of being true to you. And this is an art because for many of us, we don't really know how to be true to ourselves because we've spent all of our lives living for other people, living for the outside. The world has bombarded us since we were small with societal standards, social expectations, and social ideas of what success should look like. And most of us just fall into that without really thinking about it, because life moves really quickly. The people that brought us up moved really quickly. So we've all got used to just moving really quickly through life, decision making from here to there, going from here to there. So many exams at school, just the whole system moves so quick that we don't really get to question many things. And we lose sight of ourselves along the way. And we kind of forget ourselves in favor of pleasing, be that in how we look, how we act, what work we do, even having children, what kind of partner we're going to have. And there are 3 people that I love reading about. And I chose a quote from each of them just because they're very similar. And I hope that they will help to portray what the message of this episode is today. So, Carl Jung, poised. The world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you. And Charles Bukowski asked this question. I love it so much. Can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? And Malidoma Patrice Sommeil states, as long as we are not ourselves, we will try to be what other people are. And with all of these 3 in mind, what comes to me is that when you can be you, that's when you can finally breathe in life. So let's get to that bit. But first of all, it's important to know what is this world then? What happened to have led you away from not being able to breathe, from being embroiled in this go, and then coming to a point in your life where you're like, something isn't adding up here, there's something wrong. And I know instead of you thinking there's something wrong out there, you think there's something wrong with you, because that's a very common theme, isn't it? Feeling guilty, feeling that you did something wrong, feeling that you've displeased somebody. I think this is common for a lot of us. So if you are feeling at this time in your life and at this place that you're beginning to question things in your life, or something just isn't adding up, something's feeling off, then, well, welcome, because in my experience, in many people's experience, this is where your liberation starts. Because first of all, you have to get unhappy with the way things are, right? And for many, that can happen when your life looks great. You know, you could have a fab house, a fab car, or 10, or have a perfect looking family, just have the complete outside looking like it does measure up to what society tells us will make us happy and successful. And it's just not true, because I believe the only thing that makes us happy is when we are authentically in touch with who we are, and that feels good to us. And then when that love of ourselves, that connection with ourselves, when that is then shared, that vulnerability, that connection, that's everything. That's everything. So, you know, you can see that the feeling state is what we're missing. And what we've been, it's not our fault. What we've been, you know, taught to do is to make sure that everything looks okay. But we haven't been told to feel okay. So there's going to be a discrepancy, right? Something's off with that. And, you know, one day you might look in the mirror and not see yourself. I remember once in 2015, I was looking in the mirror, and do you know what? I was always looking in the bloody mirror, always judging myself, looking at wrinkles, looking at cellulite, or looking at the shape of my body, looking at my hair, always thinking it was too thin, just always judging myself. And at my lowest, I call it my lowest, but it was when I was right in the soil of transformation. I remember looking in the mirror, and I must have like an amazing imagination or something, but I saw, it's like I saw a flame in my eye. And by the way, my eyes were so red. They were so red because I was so tired. I was so tired with this life that I was living. And I was so tired from all the thoughts that were just going around in my head all the time. And I was just not living aligned with the truth of who I was at all. And I saw this flame in my eye, and it was like tiny. It was almost going out. And it's like, must have been the first time in ages that I'd actually looked into my eyes instead of, you know, looking around them. I really looked in my eyes. And something shocked me. It was almost like my spirit was dying or something. It was so suppressed under this heaviness that I was carrying in me of unprocessed emotions, but also the weight, literally, of the world, of all the expectations that I was trying to fulfill, which was, you know, crazy. I couldn't do it. I literally couldn't do it. So yeah, you can look in the mirror one day and just really not recognize who you are, but that will be a wake-up call. And these moments of suffering are our wake-up calls. And if you look at them the right way, you know, as a source to inspire you to start thinking, oh, what's happening? What's off? How am I not aligned here? Then that can be the platform for you to jump and start your transformation. But first, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be painful. Otherwise, you wouldn't change, would you? So going back to the quote of Charles Bukowski, then, can you remember who you were before the world told you who to be? So if you know that you're not happy, you can't put your finger on it, but something feels off. You're thinking a lot. You're thinking negatively a lot. You're worrying a lot. You're feeling insecure. You're comparing yourself. All these things, they're all symptoms that something's up with you, right? So very simply, the art of being true to you. What about the you were when you were a child? Maybe it's time to start remembering that child that you were. Because a good question to ask as well is, well, when does your child self die? When do you become an adult? What is an adult? I don't know about you, but I look at a lot of adults these days, and you know, adults look very serious, and they look with condemnation at children, or that, you know, that the children. Adults are that I see are not particularly friendly in the street, kind of in their own world, quite robotic. I'm living in a city, that's probably got a lot to do with it. But when do we become adults? I feel like these are just labels, right? I mean, I think becoming mature is a different thing. But being an adult, isn't that just like a big child? A big child? What do we lose? What part of the child do we lose? Because it's my belief and my knowing that the child is alive in us. And when we can go back and start remembering the child aspects of ourselves, that's when we can really figure out how to be true to ourselves again. Because we will start to remember how our values got compromised in order to start fitting in. So a really good example of this could be maybe you, I don't know, maybe you loved animals as a child, just say. You loved playing with them, you loved being with them. Maybe you would have made an absolutely incredible veterinary nurse, or perhaps, work within a sanctuary. But maybe one of your parents had never gone through education, and they wanted you to fulfill their unlived dreams, and they wanted you to be successful in ways that they weren't, and they started to encourage you to be a vet. But maybe that path wasn't meant for you. Maybe your version of success wouldn't have been, to be a vet, but maybe it would have been to be more hands-on with animals all day, cuddling them, caring for them, in a different capacity. But you see the way that society is, get the greatest title, and go to university. And it's got all of these ideals, which isn't really for you. It's for a group. But the thing is that within a group, there are many unique individuals. And I think by fitting in and joining all these different groups, we have lost our sense of what makes me unique, what is the true me, and in what ways am I not aligned with the true me. Reflect on your values. What values are you living by in your life, and are they aligned with your truth? An example of that, as a child, I did absolutely adore animals, and when cattle lorries used to go past me in the car, they were on their way to the slaughterhouse, I used to put my fingers in my ears and I used to go la 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 la. I used to, in my body, I used to feel so anxious seeing these animals, their noses coming out of the lorries. I just felt absolutely overwhelmed in my body about what was going to happen to them, and I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't soothe myself in that scenario, and yet I was eating meat, and that wasn't really aligned, because also when I was a child and when I went into supermarkets, I didn't see things called cow. It was called beef, and chicken burgers didn't look like a chicken, and lamb dinners didn't look like a baby lamb. Like, it was all very confusing and discombobulating, as the world often is. That's a big subject in itself, by the way, but my values weren't aligned, so that creates an imbalance within you when you're not living true to how you feel. There's an imbalance there, and that will suck energy, and it will lead to confusion and depression if there's a lot of that going on in your life. That's just one example. So that's just an example of values not being in alignment. Another example that might help in your present day is maybe you believe in working for a leader who you are inspired by, for instance. Maybe you see a lot going on in the world, that you need, that the world needs a lot of help, but maybe you're working for a company that only perhaps has a charity as a marketing arm. Like maybe you sense that the integrity of the leadership of the company that you're working for isn't what you would like it to be, and that, you know, maybe you don't feel aligned with that all of a sudden. So it's good to think about your values and whether you're living by them, because if you're not, that is going to suck your energy, that is going to be a drain, and you're just not going to be clear and living your truth, because there's going to be like misnomers. Okay. So it's important that your actions are aligned with your true self. And also, going back to the state of being a child, I think it's really important to remember the moments as a child when you experienced wonder and perhaps being in awe or absorbed in the moment. That could have been when you were lying on the grass staring up at clouds. It could have been when you were sitting on a wall with your little legs swinging over the wall and you were eating an ice cream. Just maybe you can still feel the wall that you were sitting on and feel the breeze on your face and feel the coldness on your tongue of the ice cream. And just being outside, maybe you can still feel that. And it wouldn't be surprising, because of course the body remembers everything. The body keeps the score. And as a child, you are so in the moment, you would remember that. Wouldn't be surprised if you could even remember like the feel of the trousers or the tights that you were wearing. You know, this is how much we were so in the moment as children. And we can get back there as adults, because that child in us is still alive, very much alive. But in the busyness, in the haste to create this success which hasn't made us happy, we've just forgotten. We have forgotten the most simple things that can bring us happiness again and bring us back to ourselves again. I really don't think that this healing work is rocket science. You know, I went to go and I did a workshop at the beginning of this year at a university here in the Netherlands. And I went to go and speak to a group of young 20-year-old students about being creative. And they were all in the middle of their exams, and they were asking questions like, what do I have to do hard? Like, how can I do it better? Or, and it was, I could see that their whole onus was on how could they work harder to be creative. And I was like, you don't have to work harder. You just have to let everything go. And you just have to get into the moment and be yourself and let it flow. And I know that sounds, ironically, I suppose it sounds hard, because we make life hard, but it isn't. All we have to do is live and come back alive. And that involves living from our truth, the art of being true to you. And it is an art, because, you know, you are art. Your whole life is art. The way you dress, the way you move, the way you speak, the way you decorate your house, the way you walk down the street, the way you speak to your dog, the way you speak to people in a store, the way you sing, the way you express yourself. Everything is art. You are art, and it's pure and authentic when it's just coming from you, your true you. So it isn't hard. It's just stripping everything away, letting it all fall away to remember that one that you were before the world told you who to be. So with this, let's go into a meditation. Maybe I can just help you to relax into your body. and reflect a little bit on what I've discussed today. So I'm just going to invite you to get comfy where you are. And put this on pause and grab a blanket if you want to. And just settle. And invite you to close your eyes. And just focus on your breath for a little bit. And as you're just focusing on your breath, being aware of the breath coming in, your belly expanding and contracting. Just imagine that you're breathing lots of energy into your body, lots of vitality in through your nose, and letting out any stale energy out, letting it out, any stress out through your mouth. Breathing in lots of new energy and vitality, and breathing out anything stale. And as you're focusing on your breath, just bring yourself back into this moment, wherever your thoughts have been going, wherever you've been in the day, bringing yourself back with your breath to your body. And as I say that, maybe you can just start to focus on your feet. Think about all the places that your feet have taken you this week. And send some love to your feet. As if you could kind of sprinkle some love from your heart on your feet. Give it a colour. Whatever colour comes up for that to be. Pink, gold, purple, whatever. Sprinkle that colour of love on your feet. And now imagine that your feet have incredible roots of a tree. And imagine those roots going down through the floor that you're in, down through the building that you're in. These roots, these energetic, strong, beautiful roots like a tree, go all the way down into the earth. Imagine these roots joining with other roots of trees and burrowing down deeper through underwater rivers, caves. And at a certain point, anchor your roots into the earth deep. And feel like the sense of security that comes in your body from that. Imagine just feeling safe and secure and anchored deeply into the earth. Maybe you can feel a little bit more solidity in your feet from that connection to the earth. And now coming up with your attention now, with that loving energy that you poured into your feet, pour that energy along your calves. Noticing any areas of stress or tightness in your body, sprinkle some of that loving energy there. Let your energy flow up from your calves to your thighs, to your pelvis, all around your hips, your torso, all the way around your shoulders. Let this energy pour down your arms into your hands, into the palms of your hands. Just put your focus now on the palms of your hands. With your eyes closed, just sensing the sensations in your palms. Maybe they are tingling, pulsing. Maybe you can feel that they are hot compared to the surrounding air. Focusing on your hands, I want you to cast your memory back before the age of 7, maybe 5 or 6, and just remember what your hands liked doing. Try to cast your memory back. Did you like looking in things in nature? Did you make mud pies? Did you like inspecting things, zooming in on things around you? Did you like writing, pretending to do joined up writing? Did you like drawing, doodling, painting? Did you like all the different colours of the paints, playing with them? Maybe you can remember how tactile you were. Maybe you remember touching things because you wanted to experience the different textures around you. Maybe you loved cuddling animals. Do you remember animals that you used to visit as a child? Or maybe you had animals. Do you remember how you felt when you were with them? Maybe you remember collecting stones on a beach, or beautiful leaves, or shells on the beach. Maybe you remember collecting quirky sticks in the woods. Just cast your memory back and remember what you did with those little hands. And with that will come a memory too of what you used to view. What did you used to see? What did you look at in wonder and in awe? What did you like doing? Where did you like being? And with what kind of people did you love being with? How did they make you feel? And now compare these memories of this little innocent one, the true one, with this you, the you that you should have deep compassion for, the you that has had to go through these myriad hoops, jumping through hoops to be someone in this world. What are you missing? Are you missing fresh air? What are you missing? What are you missing? What do you need more of? Who do you need more of? What do you need less of? Who do you need less of? And if emotion arises, allow that. We love that because we're not allowed to be emotional. Professional in the workplace, don't cause trouble at home, or when we were wanting to express truth. Well, it's time to be truthful because the lies are killing all of us. And I believe that if we all lived our truth, it wouldn't only save us, but it would also save our world. So being true is really remembering who you really are. And I believe that you know deeply inside. And at a certain time, that truth will start to emerge. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. And just showing yourself a lot of love and compassion for who you were, who you are, and who you're becoming. because it ain't easy, but it is for the courageous, and you are courageous. And I know because you're alive and you're here. So I'll just invite you when you're ready to just open up your eyes, come back into the room. I hope that this has been a lovely reflection point for you. It is my mission as a coach to help you, guide you, and support you in coming back to your truth, the truth of who you are. And if you'd like to chat to me about that in more detail, if you have any questions or you'd like to find out how that might work together, you can click on the link at the description in the bottom of this, and you can schedule a chat with me. And with that, I want to wish you a beautiful evening and a really good week, and I will see you soon.